Welcome and greetings from CEDA's headquarters here in Dogan. We're so happy that you joined us tonight. Whether you're watching from your kitchen, your living room, your office, who knows, wherever you may be, we hope that you enjoy your front row seat with us. We have the All-Star Band with us tonight. Thank you, guys. My name is Carmen Bode, and during the next hour, I will be taking you on an exciting journey. CEDAS is celebrating its 150th anniversary, so of course we want to spend some time looking back, but we also want to have a look at the working world of today and get a glimpse of what might be our future. We'd love for you to participate actively in this broadcast, and so we've prepared a survey that you may gladly join in. You can see a QR code on your screen right now. Go ahead and scan that, and you can participate. The first question is already activated. We're looking forward to hearing your opinion on these things. We are not alone. We have somebody over in our smart office. Christian, are you there?
Hello, Carmen. Yeah, I'm here at the CEDAS Smart Office, and I'm very happy to introduce you to two special guests, but this later.
That sounds super exciting. Okay, we want to take some time and have a look at the results of our survey. The first question, let's go ahead and have that up on the screen. Wow, we've got people here from Rotterdam, quite a few by the looks of it. We've got people from Lörrach, from Mexico. Hola, welcome. People in Berlin, Dogan, thank you so much for joining us. That's great. We've got a second question planned for you. Go ahead and have a look at that one. Which type of person are you as far as hybrid working goes? All right, I'd just like to take a quick glimpse to see if Christian is ready for us yet. I don't think he is quite yet, so let's have a clip. "150 years is a long time, and it's always good to remember where you're coming from, your roots and your origins. But I'm wondering, what lies ahead? What about the future? Where are we headed? Christian, are you ready for us now?"
Hello, Carmen. Yes, we are here at the CEDAS Smart Office, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome the board of CEDAS. Mr. Daniel Kittner, Executive Board Member, Sales and Technology, and Mr. Cornel Spohn, Chief Financial Officer. Welcome. Cornel, 150 years of CEDAS is a long time for a medium-sized company. What do you connect with it?
Yes, 150 years CEDAS. It's really a long time for a medium-sized company, and it takes a lot to master the ups and downs over 150 years. Our values, sustainability, and the strong belief what is good for the employees is good for the companies are still alive. We see these values as a bridge between the past and the future. It has always been the corporate culture that formed companies' strong core. It enabled us to sustain growth, to develop, and led to the success we have. Success over 150 years results in this stable financial situation which we have at the moment. The Corona crisis has shown us how important it was to put a strong focus on operational resource management. It enabled us to push innovation and to invest in the future, even in such hard times.
You've been with us for a year now, right?
Yes, that's right.
How do you feel about being on board at a company with such a long history?
Yeah, that's something special. Not only because I'm from the Black Forest myself, but also because we are value-driven at Cedus. Our collaboration will change in the future. It will be more flexible, more digital and more remote. And that's a challenge for all of us. Our whole environment will be more fast-paced and volatile for our customers, for our employees and for our collaboration. Especially collaboration and knowledge sharing are crucial points to master the future. And we came up with some good and innovative solutions. Another success factor is our staff. That's why values are so important to us. We believe that our future success has its roots in the profound knowledge and creativity of our employees. Tradition, values on the one side, and future digitization on the other side are not the opposites. Quite in contrast, we are strongly convinced that the connection between these two worlds is our recipe for success.
Thank you, Corne. Daniel, the anniversary has the slogan Haltung since 1871. Haltung is a German word that stands for attitude, posture and consistency. What does this mean for you in sales and operations?
In 150 years, we developed strong beliefs that were deeply rooted in us. Social and environmental responsibility is practically part of our DNA. A conscious use of resources is normal for us, and that you can see in our last investments, like in the PET fleece production or in products that are mainly built out of recycled materials. But there is also other examples like our vegetable garden or the social and environmental projects of our foundations. But there's also the target we set for ourselves for 2025 to be climate neutral until this time. We always came from added value for our customer. We started with the focus on seating and produced chairs. With the change of the need of the clients, we developed products for ergonomic seating, and today we produce whole office environments. This we could do because we have a proximity to our clients. So we understand what is their need and we can help them to create their environment that they need for their workspaces. Today we not just have physical products, we also have digital products. And we all offer them, produce them and deliver them with good quality and high reliability. This is what we stand for and this is our attitude since 150 years.
How do you see the future of Cedus?
There we have to look at different horizons. So in the short term, the pandemic boosted trends like hybrid working or mobile working. And all of our clients have the challenge that they have to adapt to this new way of working. We are just hiring people and investing in modern processes and production in our German factories because we believe with our services, products and solutions, we have the right answer for this situation today. For example, we just invest in Geseke in a factory for 20 million euro. In the middle term, there will be issues like the climate change or digitalization that will change the way of working. And we will work on solutions to adapt the workforces to what they need in their workspaces. In the long term, it's very difficult to give a prognosis. But what we know is that since 150 years, we were able to solve all our challenges with the attitude we have. And this will also happen in the future, because we know that people are social beings. They want to meet together, to work together, and we will be there to help them to create the workspaces they will need in the future.
I would like to thank you very much, Mr. Kittner, Mr. Spohn, and give the word back to you, Carmen. Thank you.
A big thank you to our board and to Christian. And now let's hear a musical intermezzo by the All-Stars. Thank you, guys. Aren't they great? In many ways, a company is kind of like a tree. It has origins, it has roots, it grows, it expands, just like a tree does with its rings. What I see here in front of me does not look like conventional office furniture at all. And that's really the question for today. How will we work in the future? How can we improve our workspace for tomorrow? It's my privilege to introduce Ernst Holzapfel to you right now. Ernst, Head of Marketing, I'm so glad you're here. Would you join me?
For sure.
Oh,
Carmen, it's so good that you're here.
Well, thank you. In the video just now, we saw all of these tree rings growing and expanding. What do you see in the future? What's our next ring going to be?
Well, Carmen, we're living in such exciting times. I mean, if you think about it, never before we had so much knowledge and experience than we have today to shape the workspace of tomorrow and today. And actually, as you know, we can probably work from anywhere today. It's a question of freedom of choice.
That's right.
So we have this blending between private and professional life. Mm-hmm. And you saw me sitting over there, watching you. It is like an informal area where you can relax. But this is even part of these environments that we talk about working. But it's more than working. I think they are blending together with living. So living and working is all the same. And actually, you know, my mom once said, variety is the spice of life. So I want to invite you for a walk around here and tell you some things. So first of all, when we come over here, we can see that we have informal areas. It can be a cafeteria. These are in places that enhance communication, that people can meet informally. Yeah. And this can connect to some options that we prefer to provide people in the companies or in their offices. But moreover, if we go over here, you can even imagine co-working spaces. The beautiful thing about co-working spaces, you have so different people connecting together. They exchange beautiful ideas, and they have areas to meet informally. Moreover, it's not only about meeting. In the proximity, they might have even spaces to retreat, to have some visual barriers, and to concentrate for a moment.
Very nifty.
All of this very much in a homey, cozy atmosphere. And when we go over here, it's about providing options. Options of making it happen, of making teams and people connecting to each other, of having a kind of collaboration that just happens very spontaneously. So when we think about it, and dear viewers, I think your experience have been the same, is that working alone at home can be perfect to do some specific tasks to focus.
Very true.
Now, there are some circumstances, like if I think about critical problem solving, if I think about strategic decision-making, and even about creative workshops, there's no way. You have to meet each other. There's no way than creating a physical space that allows and enhances these kind of things. So I would invite you to the next workstation and area we have over here. And the nice thing about it, you can just grab that stool over there and just get comfortable. So then, as you can see, it's so flexible. Yeah. And you know that these smart workshop areas it's absolutely the heart of what we need in our times. You can play around with the chairs, you can play around with the desks. It's all about flexibility.
Nice.
And it's not only related to desks and chairs. If we look over here, you can even imagine with a sofa like this that you can just move around and have a seat.
Okay.
So as you can see, teams really need more agile, more flexible solutions. And it's about the space that has to adapt and the furnishings that have to adapt to the needs of the teams and of the people. And this is what actually happens over here in a workshop. But this can also apply to spaces, to rooms where teams come together. So let's go over to the next area. And you can imagine team working together. They just split up to do some specific work. They work on different tasks. So why not change the space? Here you go. And you know, teams love to just adapt it according to the purpose they have and their activities. But also facility managers like these kind of things. You can imagine how they can change the kind of purpose of the room, the activities.
Makes their job easier.
Absolutely. And the nice thing about it, you know, all these solutions that we see over here regarding agility, we very much connected with the word we call design thinking, and we did a lot of work to connect these things. And to tell the truth, I truly believe that when you manage as a company to combine physical space with skills, with methodology, with methods, it's the thing to make you successful.
And when we hear design thinking, of course, we think of the Hasso-Plattner Institute and its academy, because they were quite involved in the development of our agile furniture here. And we've prepared a short feature for you.
The world is changing ever faster every day. Whether as a result of globalization or through daily technological innovations, the speed at which we live and work is accelerating, becoming more diverse and demanding for our society and for all organizations. The Hasso-Plattner Institute and the HPI Academy have been focusing on this complex topic for many years and are considered to be pioneers in this field. Together with colleagues from Stanford University in California, USA, the Hasso-Plattner Institute developed a work process and a mindset using design thinking to meet these new requirements.
The Hasso-Plattner Institute uniquely embodies the practice and innovation-oriented teaching of IT systems engineering and data engineering. Design thinking also plays a very relevant part here. The HPI was founded in 1998 and at that time had an exclusive focus on IT. But since 2005, when Hasso Plattner himself encountered design thinking in California, it arrived in Potsdam via Stanford. First in the form of student trainings at our HPID school, and since 2009 we have also been offering design thinking trainings for professionals at the HPI Academy. We see our campus as a center of excellence for innovation and digital transformation. This means that we want to enable organizations and individuals so that they can successfully launch and implement these topics in their field. We do this through a wide variety of trainings and formats, from introductory workshops to concrete project works to long training programs. We also tailor to our clients' needs to provide them with the best possible support along the way.
The structured approach of design thinking, the multidisciplinary teams, flexible working environments, and a creative process allow for complexity and lead to amazing results in the field of innovation.
Hi Julian.
Hi.
Good to see you. I know you're working here at the HPI Academy, but what are you really doing exactly here?
So I'm working as a program lead corporate innovation, and I'm working on the one part in the so-called certification program for design thinking coaches, and that means that I'm training people towards becoming a design thinking coach and training other people and working with other people in design thinking. And on the other hand, I design and execute workshops and formats in design thinking with our clients.
Yeah, and this was, I think, in 2018 exactly where our collaboration started. I was a member of the management team of CEDUS, and we got the first introduction of the methods of design thinking and agile working here.
Yeah, I do remember you working here and running around and exploring this way of working. That was really interesting. And then afterwards you were also sending 2 of your team members to the certification program to train them to become design thinking coaches, and then also bring design thinking into CEDUS as a whole organization in order for you to start or using it within your project.
Yeah, this was exactly the next stage for us. We tried to implement and apply design thinking more in the context of our product development. So we ask you to be part of the team and test for us prototypes of our C-Lab product development.
Yeah, we were really happy that you were asking us to try this out, because on the one hand, of course, we really wanted to help you in order to develop these objects forward, but also on the other hand, we were really happy to see that you were already implementing and using it within your project work. That's just always a nice thing to see when you train people.
Yeah, it was really great working with you, and I'm really looking forward for our next projects.
So I guess you would say collaborating with the HPI Academy was definitely worthwhile, wouldn't you, Ernst?
I absolutely agree.
Hey, before we continue, why don't we have a look at our survey and see what people have said?
For sure, let's have a look at it.
Wow, that's very interesting. I would say it's very obvious that the hybrid type of office or of worker is definitely the most favored one, and it's split even between home office worker and office worker. That's interesting. Well, go ahead and we have one more question for you. I think we can switch to the next question. And Ernst, how are we going to continue here?
Well, as you can see, hybrid is the absolute winner. And hybrid includes home office.
It does.
So the home office is probably here to stay. Now, Carmen, try to guess. Where are we here? Is this working or is this living?
Huh. I really can't tell.
Well, probably it's a little bit both. It's working and living. As soon as you have a good ergonomic chair, it is absolutely fine to work at.
That sounds good. But I don't think I've ever seen a table with a wave like this before. What's the point of that?
Oh, we love waves. And the wave is about changing things, okay? And I actually want to seduce you for more movement.
Ah.
And the thing about this wave chair, wave desk, is that you can use it either to work while standing or sitting.
Ah, I thought you wanted me to slide down.
Oh, I like that one. So if you come over here, you can imagine in a kitchen like more or less what we've seen over here, you might have a high desk, you might have an option to stand and work as a temporary workspace, but you can even sit down.
Okay.
So make it comfortable, get comfortable, and I will leave you here for a moment, for 1 minute, and have a walk around through the home office, and we'll be right back with you.
Sounds good.
Good. So, dear viewers, here we are in an environment that could be your living space. And the big challenge in living spaces is that you don't have a lot of space, and if you want to integrate a home office in there, you might use a small niche. The important thing about it is that you can absolutely combine it inside of this environment and use a good ergonomic chair, like the one over here, and you can even combine this with a height adjustable desk to stand and work over here. The important thing and the biggest challenge for people that work at home is that they don't move. They get sedentary, and that is harmful for the health. So the hint we want to give you is keep moving. And why not? When you have your home office in your living space, why not sit down for a moment and relax? It's absolutely part of changing posture, which is so beneficial for your health. Now, can you imagine one lady? She is like in her 30s. She loves surfing, and she doesn't have a big living space. So she decided to use her bedroom to work. She only temporarily works in her bedroom. And she created a small niche where she can work on a secretary like this. She didn't want to have she didn't want this to look like a real office. So therefore, she created like in an environment that is very cozy and comfortable. And this is absolutely fine. So some of you might ask me, well, what about moving around? What about changing posture? She doesn't have an height adjustable desk. No problem. There are so many other options and things you can think of. Let's imagine having just a small area in your apartment where you have a desk that you can use around, move around. You can stand there and working, so that's not a problem. And you can even combine that with some complementary products like these that are really light and flexible and change posture. Important is to move your hips. That is very beneficial for your health. And for those of us that have the privilege to have a big space at home and even a room specifically dedicated only for their home office, obviously there they can choose between different kinds and sizes of desks that are height adjustable to stand and work, to stand at the desk, and even combine that with a good ergonomic chair like the one we've seen over here. So it's so easy. As soon as you're at home, you get more private, and you can combine colors like the examples that we've seen here to just create the beautiful atmosphere and to make my life and work happy. Well, I think Carmen is already over there. Carmen, so
Hi.
There you are. Tell me about your experience in home office. What was it like?
I would say it was pretty relaxing.
Okay. Now, the thing about relaxing, I think you enjoyed it working from home.
Yeah.
This is also, I think, the viewers might admit that some companies really have a challenge with their workers being so comfortable and so chilly at home. So the big question for us is, how do we make it attractive for people to come back to the office?
Ah.
If you have a good space to work at home, what reason should there be, of course, besides meeting with other people? But if you think about the office, we want to provide you with something that is bigger than only that.
Okay.
And can you imagine a space like this? I will call this the deluxe workstation.
Sounds good.
So you're coming now not into the business class, we're providing you with the first class. So this desk is battery geared.
Ah.
With a battery that can be recharged. You can change posture the same way I've shown it just before. You can use this tool. You can sit here, you can stand and work, but you can also combine this, obviously, with a good ergonomic chair. So the perfect environment to work at.
Very nice.
And as next point, I would like to invite you into this luxury workspace. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Now, Carmen, tell me, after a long day's work, when you come back home, what's the first thing you do?
I'd probably go chill on the couch.
Okay, so something similar.
Something like this, yeah.
Okay. So you can imagine when you have, like in these luxury workspaces, one of the main things that are happening in our work is that we have a lot of web meetings.
Yes.
So you can stand, you can sit on a good ergonomic chair. But moreover, why don't keep sitting on your sofa like what we've seen over here? How does that feel?
There we go. Pretty good.
Cool.
Nice.
As you can see, you asked me a question in the beginning, Carmen. You asked me how is the working environment changing? What will be the today's solutions and tomorrow ones? A lot of this is up to us. We have so much experience, and it's up to us, dear viewers, to make the best of our knowledge, of our experience, and to create new things. At this point, I want to thank you, Carmen, for the walk and talk we just had.
Thank you. It was great.
And I thank you, dear viewers, for being here.
See you, Ernst.
See you.
So now we have a pretty good idea of the physical aspects of what the future could look like. But what about the skills and the way of thinking? What about how our brain works? Now, a man who really knows what he's talking about in this area is Agile coach and neuroscientist Dr. Arndt Pechstein. He is an expert in biomimicry and much, much more, and I'm looking forward to getting some tips and pointers from him in his speech titled Hybrid Thinking and Future Skills. Are you ready for the 21st century?
Hello and welcome to 150 years of CEDUS. Today I want to talk about hybrid thinking and future skills. What is the mindset and what are the competencies that we need to be fit for the 21st century? My life motto is don't just be successful, be significant. Because we live in an exponential world. And here it's not enough anymore to be just successful. We need to redefine what success really is. And success means impact. It means to have some significance with what we do. And why is it so important? And what does it mean to be exponential? And I want to show you in a little experiment what exponential actually means. For this, I take a little piece of paper. And I ask you, how many times do you think I can fold this sheet of paper in half, turn it 90 degrees, fold it half again, turn it 90 degrees again, and so on. How many times will I be able to do that? Well, when I usually ask this question, I get answers like 7 times, 9 times, even 20 times sometimes. So let's just try it. I'll do it once. I fold it twice. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, getting harder, and I'm not able to fold it 7 times. So 6 times it is. Now, how thick do you think that stack of paper will be if I could do that 50 times, 50 times? Again, usually I get many different answers, from 1 meter to 1 kilometer to maybe the distance equal between the Earth and the Moon. Well, in reality, that pile of paper would have a distance from the Earth to the Sun, 150 million kilometers. And if I fold it one more time, 51 times, it would even reach from the Earth to the Sun and back. Well, this is what we call exponential. And this is what you can see in this blue graph. This is how technology evolves. This is how social networks evolve. This is how globalization works. And yet, we as human beings are not capable of thinking that way. We can only think and predict our future in linear ways. We reference our future based on our experiences, based on what we experienced in the past, how we feel right now, and we extrapolate how the future might be. But with that, we are increasingly wrong with our predictions regarding the future, because what we think will happen and what actually happens along this exponential curve is increasingly different. And that, on the one hand, causes excitement because it's really cool to see what is possible and the new technologies emerging. But on the other hand, it creates anxiety and uncertainty. And that is something we call a VUCA world. VUCA is an acronym, so made of the first letters of the 4 words volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Volatility means that the speed and the amplitude of change increases massively. And this leads to an increased level of uncertainty. Why? Because the predictability decreases and the events that we call black swan events, events that are unpredictable and have a huge impact on us, such like the pandemic we're just right in right now, or financial crises, or natural disasters. All these events happen more and more frequently. At the same time, we have an increasing level of complexity because new connections are formed, new possibilities emerge, and the relationship between these different elements are not always perceivable. And finally, this creates what we call ambiguity. So depending on which information we have, we come to different conclusions. Boundaries are blurring. And because of that VUCA world, not everything we were successful with in the past really will work in the future. And that's why tradition alone is not a business model. We have to really think of those things that worked in the past and evaluate them based on our present and the future. What are the things that still work, but what are the things that may not work and don't make us future-proof? And we have to rethink and redefine what our reality really is. It is not only a threat, it is what we think it is. So we have to redefine, we have to reframe our reality. A VUCA world is nothing we can change. We will live in this volatile and uncertain and complex and ambiguous world for the next years to come. But the matter is how we scope it, how we cope with it, and how we perceive it. And that's why I want to offer a solution which I call hybrid thinking, a new way of rethinking reality in a positive way. So what is it that we can use to counter this massive volatility, this massive change and dynamics that we're experiencing every day? This is what we call a vision, the V for vision, a positive future, like transformative purpose, the why of why we exist, why our organization exists, and what we want to achieve. This is our North Star that motivates us, that brings people together. We also call it moonshot thinking, to think of something that might not be possible today, but it will be in the future. And because we want it so much, we strive to do it and make things possible that are perceived infeasible and impossible today. The next thing then is we need to work on something that counters this uncertainty. And this is something that we have to do with people. We have to empower people. We have to make people agents of change. We have to upskill them. And this is about getting them towards future competencies, future skills. Knowledge is not enough. In a time where algorithms and machines and technology can deal much better with wisdom and knowledge, like Google algorithms or some Wikipedia engine, we are as people much better at judging things and applying wisdom and knowledge. And this is what we call future skills. And these future skills require a new mindset, a growth mindset, where we are not only embarking on our analytical skills, but where we equally use the potential of our intuition, because intuition is something that makes us human. And for that, we take a little deep dive into neuroscience. If we look at our brain, we have the outer regions, which are called the neocortex. The neocortex is where those things happen that in the last decades we have managed to measure pretty well in a standardized data set, which we call the intelligence quotient, IQ. We could standardize people, we could give them numbers, we could compare people and say this person is smart and this person is smarter. And these were things like knowledge, like language, analytic, and rational skills, all these things that happen in the neocortex. But something that makes us really human and that makes us different from machines happens in the inner of our brain. And that's what we call the limbic system. The limbic system is responsible for emotions. It's responsible for decision making, for intuition, for empathy, for loyalty, for trust, all these things that happen between us people. And these are our key into our future. Now let me show you in a little experiment how powerful your limbic system really is. What you see here is a rotating mask. You know this is a rotating mask and it's hollow because I told you it's a hollow mask. So rationally, you know it's a hollow mask. Also, your eyes, your sensory input, tell you that this is a hollow mask. And yet, your limbic system will overwrite all this information and make you see a face mask where the face sticks out, just like in real life, because you never encounter people where the nose is sticking in. So, you should not only try to avoid using your intuition, you should actually really use it, not only because it's not possible to suppress it, but because it's our key to a complex and uncertain world. Now, the third thing that we need is what do we do in order to tackle complexity? Complexity cannot be handled alone. Complexity cannot be handled just by individuals. We need to leave beside the IQ mode. We need to move to what Peter Spiegel, a futurist from Germany, calls WeQ, the collective intelligence. We need to harvest the crowd wisdom, connect each other, and then create solutions that work on a larger scale, on an interconnected scale. If we achieve this, if we use this collective WeQ intelligence, then we are able, as organizations and society alike, to move along this exponential track. And we leave this linear thinking that we only can have as individuals. So working, thinking, and creating together is the way into the future. And that brings me to the fourth point. And that is something that helps us to deal with ambiguity. And that's agility. Agility helps us to develop future-proof solutions. Agility means we can adapt to changing circumstances, to changing environmental conditions in our business environment, in our societal environment, in our global context. This is something that we urgently need. We need to learn and adapt to the reality that shapes our future. And for that, we need to think in systems. We need to see the interconnectivity, the interdependencies between the different elements. It's not enough to create single solutions. We need to understand how they interact. And for that, it actually requires a rethinking of our tradition. Sometimes just incrementally iterating current things, current solutions, current products, current business models is not enough. We sometimes have to come up with a radically new, because the radically new may make the old obsolete, but what it actually does is it makes us future-proof. So having the courage and the creativity to really question the status quo and shape the future is what we need in order to be future-proof. Now, that is not simple. Change is not a simple thing for us human beings. And to show you that, but also to tell you how we can overcome this, I want to do one final experiment with you. I want you to fold your arms like that. Now please loosen up again and do it again. Fold your arms again. Now I'm pretty certain that most of you have folded their arms in the same way. Either you put right over left or left over right, just the same way as you always do it, because you have at some point learned it. Neural patterns and pathways have formed to shortcut this action as a habit, and you don't even think about it. Now please do it a different way. Put left over right or left or right over left, just opposite as you usually do it. Now 3 questions. First, who of you had to actively think about this new movement? Second, for whom of you did it take longer? And third, who of you feels a little bit uncomfortable doing it differently? I guess most of you have answered all 3 questions with yes. If that is the case, you feel how difficult change is. Yet, we need to change if conditions change. And change is easier if we do it together. So, co-creating and connecting with others is the key. And that requires future skills. We need a new humanism, a new way of getting together and shaping a future. And that is something that makes us useful and also future-proof besides machines and technology. It's not us against technologies, it's us and technology. And by the way, the planet. Because only if we make these three things right, then we build future-proof organizations and a future-proof society. Now, what is it that you can take home from here? The first thing is think in possibilities. Think positively. Think in positive visions that inspire, that motivate us. Second, connect and co-create with others. Only collectively can we create a better future that works. And third, use your intuition. Use intuition and your rational thinking together as a hybrid to shape the future. Future doesn't just happen. It is created by you or by others. So let's create a positive future together. I wish us all a great future, and I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, all stars. For the next point in our program, we will be joining Christian Mark Schmidt in Seattle. Christian is known for taking the most complex of data and visualizing it in such a way that almost anyone can understand it. We pre-recorded our conversation with him in Seattle in a C-Cube, pretty much like this one, only bigger.
It is a pleasure for me to welcome Christian Mark Schmidt. Christian is the founder and CEO of Schema, a research and design firm founded in 2012 with offices in Seattle and New York. Prior to starting Schema, he was a senior designer at Microsoft, an associate partner at Pentagram, and an interaction designer at IDEO. I know that the inspiration for your work stems from a deep interest in data and the way in which the design of information can make our lives better. Christian, thanks again for being here today. Can you tell us more about your company and core business?
Sure, and thanks, Ernst, for having me. It's really great to be here. So, we create data-driven experiences. And our mission at Schema is to clarify complex topics and create engaging, memorable experiences for people. For example, in one of our projects, we used social data from Twitter and Instagram, and we then visualized it in a three-dimensional landscape so that you could explore social networks in cities as if they were part of the physical environment. And so we view data to be in many ways similar to atoms and molecules that form structures when they come together. And that is really our design approach, creating emergent systems that can become infinitely scalable. We then turn these systems into engaging, interactive experiences to help people transform their data into actionable insights.
As an office furniture manufacturer, we are very much involved in the transformation of the physical space. But can you tell us more about the digital space, the way it is changing and the trends you are observing there?
Yes, well, I believe that we are in the middle of a massive paradigm shift, and that the biggest driver today is the radical digital transformation of everything, work, life, and culture. And the result of this digital transformation is that everything is becoming data. And so this is opening up incredible new opportunities through technologies like machine learning, blockchain, the Internet of Things, and others. And these technologies, they will make it possible to achieve unbelievable levels of automation and productivity. But despite all this potential, we also need to consider how these technologies and the datafication of society will irreversibly change our lives. and how we can ultimately maintain our humanity. For one, I think we need new interfaces to control and make sense of all of this data. And that is exactly what we do at Schema. As designers, the choices we make will either limit or enable certain interactions. And not only do we need new interfaces, we also need the right interfaces. It's critical that we design the right systems and interactions so that we can ultimately create the future that we all want.
What impact will these trends have on the working environment of tomorrow? In your view, what are the challenges for digitalization, and what do you believe we should consider?
Yeah, well, as humans, we need authentic personal interactions and physical experiences to keep us grounded. Yet, as we are spending more and more of our time talking to each other on screens and interacting with our tablets and phones, it's really causing a shift in how we experience the world. And this is a problem. Digital is quite literally flattening our horizons. And paradoxically, it's also causing us to grow more distant from one another, despite being digitally more connected than ever before. So what is really at stake here is ultimately losing the ability to create meaningful and lasting personal and social connections. So to me, the defining question for the future of work and life is, how can we bridge the digital-physical divide? Instead of replacing in-person interactions, I think that digital media needs to do exactly the opposite. It needs to facilitate physical experiences. It needs to facilitate authentic connections and also moments of surprise and serendipity. Right? These are the things that make us human. And we can make space for these in the tools and the systems that we create to ultimately build a world where the physical and the digital can harmoniously coexist. So it comes down really to what kind of world we want. I think that digital needs to return to becoming a tool that works for us, not against us, so that we can ultimately remain in the driver's seat.
Especially this aspect was the reason for us to contact you, Christian, and Schema Design. For years, we are working together with an international network of professionals and trend scouts all over the globe. We investigate new ways of working and connect the dots, hence guiding insights and then sharing the knowledge through the SADIS Insights publications. For SADIS, the central question we approached Schema with was, how can we create a platform that could add value to decision makers and key players to create the workscape of tomorrow? Christian, can you give us a glimpse inside the new Future of Work platform?
Yes, absolutely. And we are also very excited about the platform that we're creating together. A minute ago, I talked about datafication. Well, datafication is making it possible to create connections at a scale that simply wasn't possible before. And so with everything in our lives being turned into data, we are building ever-growing and evolving data platforms. And I like to think of these as knowledge graphs. Knowledge graphs, I think, will be used by organizations all over the world to create insights that are greater than the sum of the parts. And taken together, they become a kind of superbrain organism, consisting of concepts and connections, and ultimately mirroring collective human thought and action. And so, yes, we are currently working with SADIS to create a knowledge graph for the future of work. It will surface connections among workplace trends and technologies that can ultimately help people connect the dots to discover insights and inspire new solutions. The platform will focus on a growing collection of workplace concepts, which can be browsed in a whole variety of different ways. For example, zooming out, people can navigate a virtual, three-dimensional landscape to ultimately discover patterns among workplace concepts. And these concepts can then be filtered by trends such as collaboration, identity, and others. And they can also be filtered by people, places, and processes. And then the concepts connect to other concepts as well. By hovering on a tile, it becomes possible to see which concepts are related to each other. And finally, selecting a concept will show you a variety of curated and user-generated content. And so here, people can effectively zoom in. They can dive deeper into exploring workplace trends. Our goal for the Future of Work platform is to make it efficient for leaders, managers, designers, and space planners to create the workscapes of tomorrow. You know, last year gave us an unprecedented opportunity to rethink how we all live and work. And one thing is clear, the old ways just don't work anymore. And the future of work has yet to be created. Everyone, we're all in this together, right? Everyone is now faced with big decisions on how to create the best environments for their needs. And by aggregating all information on trends in one place, in a single source of truth, and being able to show connections that weren't visible before, the Future of Work platform will make it easier to find the best solution for you.
This is just amazing. You know, Christian, I'm so enthusiastic about this work. And I really want to thank you for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
So I'm over here now with Martin Stiebeling, who is the head of digital services here at CEDUS. Hey, Martin.
Hi, Carm.
A term that I hear floating around here every once in a while is C-Connects. What is that? Could you explain it to me a little bit?
Yeah. C-Connects is the all-in-one digital platform of CEDUS.
Okay.
Our target is to bundle the non-core processes of company in our management system. Therefore, we have created an application as a daily companion that makes everyday work easier. Let's have an example.
Okay.
This is our new C-Hub.
Looks good.
With this intelligent smart locker cabinet, workflows such as fleet management, document management, or even parcel delivery workflows can be handled completely contactless. All I have to do is book a locker with my C-Connects application and share this with colleagues or departments.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ah, thank you.
And the great thing is, users will have fun with it. And this is just one of many, many examples. So everything is based on the C-Connects application. In addition to this locker, I can book workplaces, set up meetings, or find colleagues, all with just one app.
Wow. That sounds pretty cool. I'd say we should have a deeper look.
For many companies, implementing the necessary health and safety measures due to the pandemic has become a real challenge. However, it is incredibly easy when using the comprehensive space management system, C-Connects. Access restrictions are displayed in the entrance area, and admission is granted accordingly. CEDUS, in cooperation with CAPSH, has developed C-Connects, an intelligent solution for the use and management of workspaces in smart working environments. Finding a suitable and safe workstation for an employee is now easy. Where fixed workplaces and rigid structures used to dominate office landscapes, more and more companies are now benefiting from the advantages of this smart working concept combined with intelligent digitalization solutions. Employees can easily find and book a free workplace or reserve meeting rooms via smartphone or other devices. The entire office floor plan with each individual workplace is stored in the C-Connects app. It displays every occupancy and booking so that the user can immediately see which spaces are in use, yellow, booked, red, and which are available, green. Based on the current prevention requirements of COVID-19, some additional features have been developed and added to the C-Connects app to further protect the health of employees in order to maintain a safe distance. And as a precaution, some workstations are marked as occupied and therefore cannot be booked. After a workstation has been reserved, following bookings can only be made for workstations which are situated at a sufficiently safe distance. C-Connects can be integrated into all furniture in a working environment, from multi-user workstations to informal meeting areas. In order to use C-Connects, discrete sensors are installed under the furniture, for example, chairs and desks, and have a very long battery life. Data captured is collected in the gateway and sent to the cloud so that the app can read it. The sensors detect the occupancy of a desk and automatically block nearby bookings, in keeping with distance management. When using the C-Connects app, it is easy to find colleagues. Simply activate the option, Find Me via the app. This will then show the area in the floor plan where the colleague is located. This function is particularly helpful in smart working environments with multi-user workstations, where people can freely select the work zone based on their activity. Another helpful feature is the new option, Mobile Office Status. Using this, employees can indicate whether they are available in the office or can be reached in the home office. With C-Connects, facility managers have an effective tool to efficiently utilize and increase space. They can access and evaluate occupancy data to optimize workspace design and organization. For example, a yearly calendar overview can be used to analyze occupancy. A heat map view shows which zones and rooms are used most frequently and at what times. C-Connects is a comprehensive and powerful space management system for modern smart working environments.
I would say now we have a pretty good understanding of the possibilities that C-Connects has to offer. Pretty cool. Thank you so much, Martin, for being here.
Thank you.
So we're almost at the end of our broadcast with you. I would say I'd really like to have another look at our survey and see what the third question has to offer. I would say it's a pretty obvious answer here. Most people see that the hybrid model is here to stay. Only a very few want to fully work from home, and nobody wants to only work at the office. This is pretty much what I expected. I would have probably voted in a similar fashion. I just want to say thank you again to everyone who participated in our online survey. Thank you for joining us here tonight. And whatever may come, whatever the future may hold, I'm sure that if we work together, we will make it great. Thanks for being here. Take it away, band.